Afternoon, everybody. Uh, glad to be glad to be talking to you guys after a victory over Temple. It was, man, what a hard fought game. Our guys did such a great job of just maximizing the opportunities we had offensively and controlling the clock. And then our defense, can't say enough for Coach Woody and the job he did preparing those guys and holding them to a couple of field goals. They're and at end of the first half and then the second half. Just that was the difference in the football game. So thought our guys are, I thought they played hard. We're improving, and hopefully that'll continue. I hope we can continue to get better and have ourselves prepared for Tulsa when they come in here in a couple of weeks. So, uh, you know, Ken, you're gonna have to have your earmuffs and your gloves today if you come out to practice. It's snowing over here today, so uh, I'm usually here on Tuesdays. So I don't know if you're planning to come by, but we're
I
gonna be
wouldn't miss it, Coach.
we're gonna be outside out there, so you can watch the practice from the weight room, and then you can come on out for the interviews, or we'll bring them into you if you want.
You got a little basketball game there tonight.
Yeah, we do. And I hopefully we'll get over there and see a little bit of that. We're kind of we're going to be out there probably while the game is going on, but pretty exciting to have a marquee program like Duke coming in to play our basketball team.
What's your thought about Coach K? What a tremendous career he's had at Duke and coming out of West Point uh, with Bobby Knight. What's your thought about Coach K and the loyalty he's demonstrated to West Point with the award he does each year and bringing the Duke program to West Point tonight?
Coach K is an incredible ambassador for West Point. He he makes a point of always mentioning this institution on his podcast and national interviews and his pride in being a West Point graduate and is always quick to mention what an influence this place had on him and his his skills as a leader and that for someone like that who probably is a natural born leader and likely would have succeeded regardless of where he went to college. To be able to have a guy like that talks about West Point and reveres this institution and does that publicly, really incredible. He's just a remarkable leader. Um, Terrific basketball coach, obviously, but it's more than just his X's and O's. There are a lot of coaches that are good at scheme and can draw up 14 inbound plays and a full court press and uh, you know fast break plays, whatever they do in basketball. He's probably the best there is at it. But he also is an incredible motivator. Uh, he's his I think probably process for developing an organization, building an organization, much like Coach Saban, accountability and discipline, um, and uh, and just a a a standard for excellence that is beyond probably the common program. So, just what an incredible career and his humility when he speaks and talks about the things that were accomplished under his tenure at Duke. He always talks about the players and the assistant coaches and the team, and certainly he never references himself or takes credit for it, though he deserves much of the credit.
Coach, just while we're on that topic of tonight's game and what it represents, it's Veterans Day and the legacy of Army football players who have served in the U.S. Army. I go back to General Dwight D. Eisenhower, a former Army linebacker who did what he did in World War II and rose to the presidency, and so many others. Pete Dawkins, who we see. What are your thoughts about leading a program that has had so much impact on American history?
It's an incredible source of personal pride for me to be a part of this program, to associate with this program, to have an opportunity to um, motivate, train, inspire, and prepare these young men to be Army officers. And perhaps some of the guys that we've coached here in the last 12 years will be people that will be talked about over the course of history for decades and centuries to come, like those gentlemen you mentioned. So just an incredible opportunity and a great privilege and honor to be here at West Point and just the to be a part of the remarkable United States Army. I mean, this is an organization that for the last 2.5 centuries has grown to become the greatest fighting force that mankind has ever known. So, uh, just awesome to be here and be a part of West Point and what it means to our Army and to be around these young people who've committed to a life of service.
Thank you, Coach. Just a football question. You've got a bye week and then the home game against Tulsa. Winning that game would give you make the team bowl eligible. And then you got a short week on Thanksgiving week. You go down to UTSA. How do you plan to spend this bye week and kind of as you got two games back to back?
Well, we want to prepare for Tulsa. It's the biggest game of the year to this point. As you mentioned, obviously an opportunity in this game coming up to get bowl eligible. It's a measure of success for everybody that plays football at this level. And I'm certain that, that's a goal of our players in their hearts and minds that they'd like to play in the postseason. So, that, you know, that's, that would be nice to be able to do that and have that opportunity. But right now, we're trying to improve and get better. We're trying to grow on the things that we've done well, and really just focus on those things where we really need some work. There's a lot of football left to play. We've obviously got 3 games promised to us. We've got a fourth game if in fact we can get a victory in this game coming up against Tulsa, and so there's a lot of opportunity out there for us to improve, and that's just what we hope to do. We're trying to do that. I think we've gotten better as the season's gone along. Um, we're not certainly not where I think we're capable of being, but that gives us a lot to work on.
Thanks, Coach.
Sal, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good, Sal. Thanks.
Hey, on Veterans Day, do you have any presentation to the team like before practice starts, or is that kind of almost like they kind of know what West Point is all about and they don't know what this day is all about?
Yeah, I think they got a pretty good idea what Veterans Day is all about, and they're the guys in our locker room, the everybody that is in uniform at West Point. Um, in my opinion, they're part of the celebration of Veterans Day that we honor and recognize our men and women that serve that have made a commitment, those that have served and those that continue to serve.
I know that you had a football game to play on Saturday against Temple, but were there any grads that came back for that game? I know it was homecoming, and were there any grads that came back that your team or you had a chat with and talked about, beyond the game with, maybe after the game or now?
I didn't have any conversations about Veterans Day or those kinds of things, but it's the 10-year reunion for the class of 2015. So that was the seniors who were a part of my first team. So played in 2014, graduated in 2015. So they came back for their reunion, and I got to see several of those guys, which was really a thrill to be able to um, embrace them and see them. For some of them, I hadn't seen them since they graduated. So that was a lot of fun. We had General Caslin was back, was in the locker room, spoke to our team after the game. Rob Healy's great quarterback here. And he was back. He was actually here on Friday, ate lunch with our team, and he's been a tremendous supporter of our program and our football team. So guys like that, and that's I think every game we see some grads, we see some folks back, but I was really particularly excited to see those guys from that first season.
It's crazy how time flies by. I mean, I can't believe that it's been 10 years. Um, on the football side, fourth down. I'm writing a story on fourth down, and I've done some homework on the numbers and stuff like that. Are you pretty much fourth down these days go by the analytics book, or I mean, I guess there's some obvious plays where it's like fourth and 2 from the 2 yard line you're gonna go, but I mean, are you basically is it by the analytics book a lot on fourth down these days, or is there some gut feeling there?
It's pretty much by the book. I guess there are some um, gut, I guess, responses against Air Force when we punted the ball down to the 1 or 2 yard line, and Jabril caught that ball and kind of pinned them down there. That was a go number for us,
Hmm.
and I think it was 4th and 6. But Coach Worley just say, Coach, I think we ought to punt here, and you know, to have a good 4th and 6 play. Um, like there's other things involved. Not even if you don't make it. I mean, there's a lot of things factored in, but that one worked out pretty good for field position. But if they drove the ball 98 yards and scored a touchdown, the analytics would say, see, that's why you go for it, because you take a chance. And the response was a um, you would eliminate their opportunity to drive the ball. But I think for each scenario, whether it's a go at 1 yard or it's a go at 11 yards, which there are scenarios where that's the case. Um, it's built to help us win the football game, control the clock, and so the analytics really help us. That it's for each new set of downs, trying to get success on that set of downs. The go number is set up to help us call plays to get ourselves under that number so that uh, we're going for it rather than giving the ball back to them on a punt or a kick.
When you have a quarterback like Cale Helms, or even Bryson Daly last year, just an Army football quarterback in general and their mentality, I think Cale's converted 17 fourth downs this year. I mean, is that more? It's obviously a benefit for you guys to have somebody like that, right? Or is it that kind of more? Is it still a numbers game?
No, it's absolutely good to have somebody that can get those tough, hard yards. And there's been some we've missed this year, but he's pretty rugged and tough, and can push the guys in front of him, and usually gets a push from behind with one of those running backs helping him along. So that I didn't know he had 17 himself, but we go for it a pretty good bit.
Yeah, 29 times so far, coach. And I'm sure there'll be a few more in these next couple games. Thanks so much for your time and happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
John Charan. We'll go to JJ.
Happy Veterans Day, Coach. How do you guys maintain the momentum you guys gained during Temple with this off week before facing Tulsa?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, momentum. Uh, think you only lose momentum when you stop believing. So if you always believe, then I guess you always have momentum. And so I believe this team's improving. I believe this team has got an opportunity to win every game we play if we'll maximize our abilities. Uh, I don't know that we're more talented, faster, bigger, more athletic, any of those things than any of the teams we play. I just believe that if we do maximize uh, our capabilities, that we'll have a chance to win. And so I I think it's great. It's great that our guys won that game against Temple. I thought they were a good team. They're well coached. They're physical, um, and that you know I, I I don't know. I mean, momentum. It's do you take the excitement of a win on Saturday and you're able to stay in that moment and stay on that high and that excitement for 2 weeks? Probably not. Uh, Bottom line is we just got to get ready for the next one and hope that our performance, our execution of assignments and fundamentals we'll be at a high level and good enough to win.
This is a big week for Army sports. You've got Duke coming in tonight, and then on the weekend, the women's soccer team's going to be going back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2011 and refacing Penn State again. What does it mean for the cadets and all the athletes at Army this week?
Well, that's certainly exciting for those programs. As I mentioned earlier, to have a team like Duke and the history that they have in college basketball coming in here to Crystal Arena and being here at West Point, that's pretty fantastic. And I hope our men's team just plays a great game tonight and maximizes who they can be and will win the game. We're going to be cheering loud. I'm really happy for our women's soccer program, and they've done a great job of really getting that program up to the top of the conference standings, and they've been very competitive and one of the top teams in the league for the last couple 3 years, and so happy for them, excited, and just proud that they're going to be representing West Point and our Army as the Patriot League champions and going to the NCAA tournament.
Thank you, Coach. Hopefully, I'll see you up there tonight.
Okay.
To wrap up, Ken McMillan, go ahead.
Hey, Jeff. You mentioned earlier about how your team has been making improvements along the way. Can you cite a few that have come in recent weeks that you're awfully proud of?
Well, we're doing a better job of getting off of blocks on defense, and that's something that it's hard to do when you have a player across from you in a one-on-one battle that's athletic, uh, really long, really big. Um, it's hard to shed a block, to rip off of a block. But I think our guys are doing a better job with that, not staying blocked on defense. I think we've been pretty consistent as of late in terms of our tackling. Now we missed it, I guess maybe 10 or 11 tackles on Saturday, which is 10 or 11 too many. But it's hard to go an entire game without missing a tackle. But I think our guys have been better at tackling, and we got a lot of guys really working hard on the fundamentals to tackle with good low pad level and getting close to the ball carrier before they throw. Um, the the big plays, we've been able to keep those to a minimum. We've been doing a good job keeping the ball in front of us. They hit a couple post routes. They hit a post route in front of us to set up the field goal in the first half, and then they hit the tight end down the seam. They had a rail flood, three receivers going vertical to one side to our bench, going towards the scoreboard. And I guess that was the third quarter, and they hit that tight end kind of in the trail smoke of the receiver. Those were, a couple of big plays, but we kept them in front of us, and I think that's key. That we just try to keep those big plays at bay and not let them get behind us offensively. Um, just controlling the clock. It's really hard to do that. It's hard to have those drives like we did on Saturday. We had two of them. One was 14 plays. One was 18 plays. The last drive of the game's 18 plays, and being able to sustain that and get points or set ourselves up for points. That's been positive. We haven't hit a bunch of really big plays, um, and I think that's something that I hope we'll be able to manufacture. It's hard to do, but if we can continue to sustain drives and keep the ball away from the other team, then we're probably playing our brand of football. Our kicking game's been pretty good recently. Our punter, I think, has been doing a really good job. Can't say enough for Anderson Britton, the job that he's done kicking the ball off. He's been kicking them pretty consistently in the end zone, and we've made some field goals. The two at Air Force were big, and hopefully Dawson Jones is just gaining his confidence, and we're going to need him down the stretch.
To follow on Sal's question from earlier, with Kale carrying the ball a lot, just as Bryson did last year, analytically or just philosophically, is it always best if your quarterback can do it, let him do it, versus a handoff, even if you have a monster back?
It doesn't matter to me who gets the first down on fourth. I could care less. Whether it's a back or whether it's Kale or we throw it to Parker Pulaski. However we got to do it. And sometimes just having a quarterback that can run, it gives you one more blocker. If you hand it off to the back, the quarterback's not going to be in position to block for him. So I guess there's times where it's nice to have an extra blocker, but there's been plenty of times, as you know, where we hand it off to a running back or get it to somebody on the perimeter.
But is it also the theory it's one less handoff, it's one less possibility of a mistake, so just let the quarterback do it?
No, I don't worry about the ball exchanges. I think we practice that and train our guys. Uh, I think vigilantly enough that to take a snap from under center or take a shotgun snap and hand it off to somebody else. That's really not a concern in terms of a fumble and a ball exchange or anything like that.
I asked you this before on the last bye week. Any young players making some strides here that we might just see in these closing weeks?
Well, GP carried the ball a couple of times. God's Power carried the ball a couple of times in the Air Force game. We had really planned to have him carry the ball some in this past game, but obviously the way things were going and we were just playing a couple of guys there, and it was such a tight ball game. Uh, the guys with veteran experience kind of won out there, but he continues to improve. Been really pleased with him. Noah Pryor played some snaps on Saturday. He's a tight end that's kind of down in the depth chart. I think he's got a good career ahead of himself. Um, I don't know offensively if there's other guys that are going to pop up or all of a sudden be contributors, and likely the same on defense. There's some good young players, some guys that I think have a really bright future, but there's enough veteran players that are either in a starting role or a backup role that um, I don't know if those guys are going to rise up from where they are now and be in the mix.
And your left field question of the week, since Kenny was asking about Coach K earlier, did
Mhm.
you ever play basketball? And what do you like about basketball?
Oh gosh, I tried to play basketball when I was in elementary and middle school. I would have loved to play basketball in high school, but when I was a high school freshman, Ken, I was 5 feet 94 pounds, and I went to high school in Joliet, Illinois, and that's a great basketball town. Um, and so I didn't play high school basketball, but it's a great sport. I love watching basketball. I particularly like watching those teams that are really aggressive on defense. I, I'm I don't watch a lot of basketball, but if there's a team that's playing that is one of those teams that full court presses after every basket where they're playing defense from as soon as the ball is inbounded all the way down the court. To me, that's really fun to watch. Um, and equally as interesting to see how teams move the ball down the floor on those full court press teams and teams that are really athletic and they can, throw those passes and kind of zip the ball down there and get it down to the other end. They end up in one-on-one situations so I like those fast-paced, really aggressive teams. I grew up in the era where when I was a kid, there wasn't a three-point line and there was no shot clock. So there was a team. So there's a couple teams in town. There was this team, Joliet Central, and they had a coach named Dale Glenn. And the I guess the story was, I don't know this for a fact, but the story was that in practice he would never practice offense. So he practiced defense, practiced inbound plays, uh, whether they were from under their own basket, from the side, under the other team's hoop, just all the inbound plays, um, and then different defenses. I mean, they play box and one, they play man to man, they had a full court defense, and they were really good and really talented. And I guess somebody asked him one time, "How come you never practice offense?" He said, "Well, as soon as we get done with practice, all of my players go down to the playground and they play pickup hoops for 3 hours, and that's all they play down there is offense, just running up and down the floor." He said, "So when we get a rebound or we inbound the ball, we run, and they just go play and uh and they were fantastic." And in the same town was Joliet Catholic, uh, who would play a stall, a four corner stall offense. So literally, they would go against Joliet Central, who's just running up and down the floor, and Central would get the ball. They would run down the floor as fast as they could. They'd score, and it, Catholic High would get it back, and they'd go down to the other end, and they'd stand a guy in each corner, and they'd just pass it to each other and hold it. Somebody came to guard them. They'd pass it to somebody else, and the halftime score would be like 4-2. I mean, literally, there was single digits. It is crazy. So, very, very different game now than it was then. But it's a fun game to watch, and I'm enamored by all the guys that play that sport that I think could be all pro tight ends. You watch these guys that play forward in the NBA, and they're 6'10", 7 feet tall, and they run pretty good. They got great hands. They can jump. I always think, man, that guy be a great tight end. But um, to see people that big and that long be that athletic as it's that's a lot of fun to watch those guys.
Maybe you can steal some guys from Cowick.
Well, he's doing a good job, and we'll let him keep his guys. I also you remember those guys, Spud Webb and Bugsy
Yeah.
Mogs. Those five
Hmm.
three and 5'7" guys.
Yeah.
And those guys played in the NBA. That's hard to believe. Guys that short played in the NBA back then.
Were you a Bulls fan pre-Jordan?
No, no.
Okay.
In fact, so when I was growing up, there was four TV channels. There was Channel 2, which was CBS, Channel 5, which was NBC, Channel 7 was ABC, and then we got WGN, which was Channel 9 in Chicago. So I got four channels, and the only sports that came on were the Cubs. Watch the Cubs every afternoon at 1 p.m. when they were playing at home.
Hmm.
But none of the other sports came on. You had to get this buy this box and get this subscription to Sports Vision, and you could get the Bulls and the uh, and the Blackhawks games. Well, my parents were two teachers. We didn't have an extra $25 for a month to get a Sports Vision box, so never really became
Oh,
the hockey or basketball fans. But then once I guess I was in college when the Bulls really started getting hot and were winning championships, and Jordan and everybody got on the Jordan bandwagon in Chicago then.
cool. Thanks, Jeff, for your time.
All right, have a good day, everybody.